Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today I would like to talk about layouts. So this is a fairly new feature by Notion. So the idea is that you can actually adjust your layout inside the Notion database. So just bear in mind this only works in database. Is that instead of our traditional view or just having all the properties just line by line, right? So I can actually adjust it into a right side here. You can have a mini tab here and then kind of change the different views as well. And then the idea is that to just make your database more easier to navigate, easier to look at. So I personally find one very useful use case when it comes to implement for teams, how we kind of potentially hide information, especially like formulas from the users. So we don't want them to simply go inside and click it. So of course they can still do it, but we try to make it as difficult as possible. So I'm going to jump to Notion to kind of show you the example now. Alright, now that we're in Notion, we have our standard project and task database. So for the project database, we have the name, we have the status, we have the start date, end date, and then the project status. So this is basically just a formula to try to check whether the end date is overdue. So is it past today? So if it's past today, it's overdue. If it's not, it's on track. So you want to you're curious about it, it's basically just a simple formula. So if my end date, so I kind of format the date into a year, month, date to compare it with today. So if it's less than today, it's overdue. If not, it's on track. So something simple, nothing complicated here. And then here we have a task, we have a name and a project. I'll just kind of add on a checkbox here. And then we can do like a task 1, and then you can link to a project 1, for example. All right. So previously, how we kind of do this is usually if you're using Notion, like you just kind of use the link database. So we can kind of create a template here. I'm just going to show you a quick example here. Some of you might be quite new. So you can just copy a link of this task database and then select default here, templates, and then just type default. And then just paste here, link as the database view, and then select filter, project, default. So the idea is that every time we create a new, how should I say it, a new project database, project items, so you always have this link table here. So if I just go to project here, so select default. So what will happen is that you create a database here, the table, a checklist that is linked to this project here. So if I go to the next one, project 2, select default, you can see that it's linked to project 2. So yeah, this is the traditional way of how we do it. But with the introductions of layout, we can do it a different way. So yeah, without going too far into it, let's kind of introduce what is layout, right? So essentially layout, what is that traditionally how we display our properties when it comes to each of these projects, right? You can see you have this end date, start date, status, and project status. It looks a bit like a form, so there's not much we can play around with it. But with the introduction of layout, so I'm going to do this 3 dot on the right side here, or I think there's the options here as well, customize layout. So you can either click here or you can select this and then customize layout. So these are the 2 options. So I'm going to just click select here. So once you click it, you're going to see there's another option as well. So simple and tab. So tab is the one that's recently released. I believe it was released last week. So we'll go through the simple one first. So we have simple one, you can see there's a heading here and then there's a property group. So what can you do with this? So first thing, and then this another one on the right side, add to panel. So the first thing you can do is, if I don't want anything I don't want to show anything here, right? So for example, usually I use a lot of formulas and I don't want people to kind of easily change it or don't want to edit it. So what I can do is, so previously what we used to do is that we hide it, right? So let me just cancel it first. So normally in the past, what we do is that property visibility always hide. So we can kind of show it here, but then they can still kind of add like plus one more property, can just expand it, then you can still see it. So, but sometimes we don't want to, because we don't want people to kind of see why is this thing here, like, because our system's supposed to be slick, So what we can do is just go back to customize layout. So instead of having this +1 here, we can just move this to add to layout. No, we can move this to, let me see. Yeah, you can move it here. Or another way, let me try to see it. Yeah, so that's one way, or add to panel. So you can select add to panel here and then project status. So you can see that it will disappear from here. So how this translates to Notion is that apply the pages. So you can see now, so we don't have the ability to allow people to expand. So it's a bit more slicker. And then what I found as well after implemented for my clients as well is that this button here to view details is here very difficult to find for them. So a lot of them don't even know where it is. So just a tips, you want to allow the users to kind of change information on this tab. So try to avoid it because a lot of them will be quite difficult for them to find. So try and avoid using this. So next we go back to customize layout again. So this is one option. Another option is that if in case you have a lot of properties that you don't want to, right? So because if you do these options, like kind of there's a lot of things that you can do it one by one. But another way around it is that, so let's say I just want to keep all this. I don't want all this here. I'll just move everything here. And then what you can do is you can actually just select handpick what you want to show instead. So start date, you can actually start date here, and then can add on one more end date here. So how this will display is it will be slightly different display. So actually it will be bigger. So start date and date. So this is another view you can consider. Like it's probably a bit more clearer. Like people, it's easier for them to kind of adjust the dates. So this is one thing you can do with layout. And then the third one is that I kind of play around it. I actually didn't realize it until we can actually do it. Is you can actually add the properties like on top of this heading. So what's the difference is that, because I was kind of thinking about how I kind of make it like it's kind of like it's kind of taking a lot of space. So how can I make it like just I have a one start date and date here? How can I make it do that? So how you can do this, actually you can just drag this. I think you can drag it. No, maybe you can't drag it. You can pin it. So you select the heading, you just click it, and then you can see there's an unpinned properties here. So what you can do is actually start pinning stuff. So you can pin the start date, and you can pin the end dates. So you can see that they are appearing side by side here. I can even do for status. And then just apply all changes. So what happens is that when you open it up, you can see that it's started, ended, and status. So I believe you can kind of widen it as well. Let me just see how you can do that. Customize layout. Because right now it's kind of like go to the left side, right? So we don't want it to like just go to, you can select full width, I think. So let me try. It's still not doing it. Interesting. I guess it's kind of not that smart for now. So hopefully like Notion kind of adjust it so that you'll go like just automatically expand it, so we don't have to be like so small. So that's one thing that they can do in the future. But for now, this is kind of one thing you can do. So you just kind of have everything on the same row. So unfortunately, like if you want to have it here, right, you can't actually like have them multiple, like you can't actually add one more here on the side instead of just stuck to the heading. So for now, this is not possible. Hopefully they will introduce it in a future like version. So yeah, this is one thing that you can do. And then the last one, the new one they added, is the tab feature. So basically how you can do it is you kind of have to select, the UI is a bit weird right now, like so you kind of select, you don't know where it happens, right? You can actually just have to select like a blank space here, then you show up this structure here. So you can select tab. So what tab essentially means that you can actually select multiple ones. So for example, I'm just going to select tab and a link existing database, and then I'm going to select task. So for now, tab, the original one, you can have a content, right? Let me just show you now exactly. Oh, you can't do it. Okay, let me just add a random thing. So for the second tab that you can add, you can actually only add database for now. So add new relation, let me just see. Project view, project, okay. I don't think it's new relation, I think we already have existing relation. So we're just select task and then add view. So for now, what you can do is that I'm just gonna apply all pages. So you can see in the tab here, right? So you have your status, comments, and your table here. Once you select a tab, right, it's actually just the database view here. So you can imagine like it's being very helpful. Like maybe this is like people want to monitor the task. So you can just say like, I don't know, monitor task. So they can just click on the tab and then they're gonna see it. So instead of having the task table here, we can just remove this. And then we can have it here. So this here, we can just leave it for people who just want to type things, right? They can select here and then they select monitor task. This is where they can adjust their tasks. So customize layout. So one thing you can add is just filter as well. So I'm not too sure whether you can do it. Page containing this view. So I think this one should work. So apply to all pages. So once you have it, it should just show the project that you want. So let me just test it on the project 2. So you can see that. So task 2. You can see only showing the project 2 here. So yeah, this is kind of how you can use the latest layout feature. So I still haven't fully explored what are the things cool things you can use. But for now, the two things that I really like is that one, you can use it for database. So I would prefer them to be able to allow to use other things as well, not just database, like maybe a different page as well. And then second is just to hide information. Like, so we want to throw everything that we don't want the users to kind of simply tinker around it. We just put it here, and then that will reduce the errors, like for them to kind of change things accidentally. So that's it. So if you like the video, please like and subscribe. So it helped me to motivate me to make more videos. Currently, I'm hoping to do more on like maybe at least 3 videos per week. So let's see. Thank you very much.